A winter storm warning has been issued as this weekend's ice storm approaches. I'm timing out when the storm arrives and how bone-chilling temperatures could extend its impacts.
Power outage preps. Duke Energy is bringing in hundreds of crew members to be ready for the storm, and they've transformed an amphitheater into their command center. Meantime, Highway Patrol says they need more people. How a staffing shortage could impact road safety when the ice storm hits. And there it is. There she blows. That's the storm set to hit our area around this time tomorrow night. The radar shows it's out to our west right now, but come Saturday night, it will bring an ice storm to our doorstep. Thank you for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Dan Haggerty. So the freezing rain starts Saturday. The cold is going to stick around for a while, meaning this stuff isn't exactly going to melt very fast. Meteorologist Kat Campbell in the Severe Weather Center, and we're looking at what could be a half inch or more of ice in a lot of area.
Yes, especially from the triangle points north and west. That's the zone that we are most concerned about. Here's the latest on timing. This has shifted a little bit since yesterday by a couple of hours. I want to bring you up to speed. Between 5 and 7 p.m., that's when we could start to see some light flurries, some light sleet. It's going to be more patchy at that time, though. By 7 to 9 p.m., that's the window when we see the widespread band of wintry mix arrive. Again, still some snow and sleet in there, but we see the transition to freezing rain pretty quickly. Saturday night between 9 and 11 p.m. we transition to freezing rain, and you can track the arrival of the winter weather on your WRAL weather app and with us on TV. The winter storm warning is in effect for most of our viewing area. A winter weather advisory, a little tier lower in severity for Cumberland, Sampson, and Wayne counties. There is an ice storm warning for Charlotte and Asheville, and a lot of people are confused as to why we aren't under an ice storm warning here when we're expecting an ice storm warning. The reason, small definition changes between the two that were issued by the National Weather Service. The ice storm warning is where there is only freezing rain in the forecast. Our winter storm warning is in place because we could see a little bit of snow and sleet at the beginning of the event, depending on where you live. There's no change in severity between the two alert types. And sleet has been introduced a little bit more to the forecast today. We had that potential yesterday, but we're starting to get a better feel for the timing. And as the event begins, some sleet will mix in early, maybe some snowflakes. And we actually, for once, want the sleet. It's better than freezing rain, that's for sure. But we are still forecasting half an inch, perhaps more in parts of our viewing area from the Triangle West and south and east of Raleigh. It is just over a quarter of an inch to a half an inch of freezing rain possible. And where you see the light pink, that is a quarter of an inch of freezing rain or less. Throughout the day Saturday, dry weather is expected. I would try to be home by 5 o'clock. You can see some light patchy wintry mix starting at 6 o'clock. That'll become more widespread by 10 o'clock, and that continues overnight into Sunday. I don't think people are going to lose power yet on Saturday. Sunday would be when they could lose power. I'll walk you through when this all clears out coming up, Dan.
So important to have that timing, Kat. Thank you. Duke Energy, they're listening to people like Kat Campbell as well. They're bringing in around 1,000 crew members to the Raleigh area to be in position to respond to any damage or outages, of course, from the ice storm. WRAL's Willie Danley joins us live from Walnut Creek Amphitheater, where the crews are beginning to set up for the weekend. Willie.
Dan, this setup here at Walnut Creek Amphitheater is a pretty well-oiled machine with a lot of moving parts. You can see right there behind me, those trailers back there, that's where crews are beginning to unload the supplies that they're going to need for this repair work. This area will essentially be the mobile command center for around 1,000 crew members for the duration of the storm. Duke Energy is bringing in crew members from around the country to help conduct these repairs. According to what they are expecting, they want customers to be prepared for extended outages due to the amount of ice accumulation that they are expecting. We spoke to Jeff Brooks from Duke Energy. He tells us they're hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.
If you've not taken this storm seriously up till now, you're running out of time to take it seriously. This is going to be a significant storm based on the forecast that we're seeing today, and that could mean potentially extended outages for some customers.
The crew members that are coming here to Walnut Creek Amphitheater are rolling in as we speak. Jeff Brooks tells us that they will be staying in around 20 hotels around the Triangle, being prepared to respond in different locations. Back to you, Dan.
Willie, thank you. It makes me feel good to see all that activity behind you. Everybody getting ready to help out. Willie, live at the amphitheater there. Appreciate it. We can pre-plan for these events and get roadways back open as quick as possible. That is our quote of the day, coming from the State Highway Patrol Sergeant Christopher Knox. He's talking about the state's plan ahead of tomorrow's ice storm. And they have a pretty good plan in place, we should say, one that they have been developing for over a decade or so. And it includes identifying winter storm hotspots, those steep, icy stretches of road where crashes are more likely to happen. But for those to be identified, for the state to know where those are, they need people to report them. As WRAL state government reporter Caroline Yaffa reports, staffing shortages could impact that effort.
Elevated roadways and major interstate corridors throughout the state are most likely to cause problems for commercial truckers during winter storms. Officials say dangerous spots in the triangle can change quickly as conditions shift. Highway Patrol First Sergeant Chris Knox says mountainous roads are the riskiest, but that troopers will be across the state.
We can pre-plan for these events and get roadways back open as quick as possible, and that's what we're doing in this case. We've got these hot spots and these quick response teams that are going to be set up and in place.
Truck drivers say many of those situational warnings are still shared largely by word of mouth, passed from driver to driver, and through Highway Patrol and the State Transportation Department as conditions evolve. The Highway Patrol is dealing with significant staffing shortages. Some worry that could affect real-time responses during storms. About 12% of Highway Patrol jobs are unfilled, including 305 short-term and 161 long-term openings.
There's fewer eyes and ears out there on the road. The information's only as good as what's being reported into it. And so, we'd love to have more troopers out on the road, particularly when there's emergency situations.
We asked Highway Patrol about whether the shortages will impact their ability to respond. They tell us that despite the shortages, they'll respond to winter storms the same way they always do, coordinating with other agencies to protect the public, and that they will work extra hours to ensure the safety of our state. Caroline Yaffa, WRAL News, Raleigh.
Now, the best way to be prepared for the storm is to be informed. So you ask some ice storm questions, and after the break, we get you some answers. How to protect your pipes, how to keep your house warm, where you should keep your food, and why everyone in our team coverage graphic looks so intense. Also, the monks are making their way into Wake County. Here's a question. How are they handling the ice storm? You're going to stick around for tonight's one last thing, we hope. Kat?
And the storm's coming together. You can already see it on the radar. Nationally speaking, it's going to be a huge one across the country. I'll have a closer look at the timing and when this all clears out, plus the cold that will follow coming up.
So again, we are about 24 hours away from this ice storm set to hit our area. Around this time tomorrow, things are going to get started. We've spent the week trying to get you prepared, making sure that you're informed. And as we can see, many of you are taking action. Look at this line at the Ace Hardware in Cary earlier today. Ashley Rowe took this video from the front of the store, and the little sign that they showed, that one right there at the beginning, looks like they've run out of just about everything. Generators, gas cans, shovels, sleds, so much other stuff. No doubt lots of stores in our area, a lot of you probably were in lines like this over the past couple of days. So whether or not you have all of the stuff that you need for the storm, one of the most important things you need really is information. We told you to send your questions at 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. at WRAL.com, and we got a bunch of emails. A lot of you continue to write in. Thank you for doing so. The more you know here, the better you're going to be prepared for what shows up here in the Triangle. So let's start with this one from a viewer named Joe. Joe asked, why does everyone look so mad at the Alert Day team coverage photo? Let's take a look at the graphic, because Joe, I know what you mean. You kind of have a point. There are a lot of photos, a lot of our employees here on this graphic, and everyone is looking pretty intense. I mean, look at my face. Looks like somebody stole my parking spot. Not everybody's mean mugging. Allie and Destiny, they're giving some soft smiles. I should take some pointers, maybe get another picture taken. The point is, don't think of us as being mad in that picture. We're just locked in. The WRL team is locked in here. We are ready, and we are serious about informing you and protecting our community through an ice storm or something of this magnitude. Now to a question we got from someone, a student at Ligon Middle School in Raleigh. They asked, is it going to be cold enough to leave refrigerated food outside, maybe in the garage or something like that? And it's a great question because it's going to be cold. It's going to be freezing outside. 5 on Your Side has been looking into all kinds of questions like this. So for a moment, let's hand things off to Keely Arthur to give us an answer.
You'd think putting your food outside would be an easy and economical fix, but the USDA is warning against that, saying it's just too risky because the temperature is going to fluctuate, putting your food at risk. Instead, I want you to do this. For your fridge, know that a fridge will keep your food below 40 degrees for 4 to 6 hours, but keep the door closed. And for a freezer, your food can hold on much longer, 48 hours if it's fully stocked, 24 hours if it's half full. Bottom line, you want to throw anything that gets above 40 degrees Fahrenheit for more than 2 hours out. And don't taste your food to check and see if it's okay. When in doubt, just get rid of it and stay safe. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
Good advice from Keely. Thank you. Here's another question about prepping your home for an ice storm. Kathy wrote in and said, when and how do you protect outside pipes? So the time to do this is now. If you can wrap exposed pipes with some foam sleeves or heat tape, do that. When it comes to your hoses and your spigots outside, you need to unhook and drain the spigot. You can't just rely on a cover on the outside to do this alone. To do that, you disconnect the hose and then you turn off the water to that hose at the shutoff inside your home. Sometimes here in North Carolina, you go down into the crawl space to find that. Once it is off, open that spigot outside and drain the water. That makes sure that that little section between the outside and where it's exposed in your crawl space doesn't freeze. Inside, for those pipes, leave your faucets at a minimum drip and keep the cabinets open so the heat from your home can get to those pipes. Here's another great question from Diana and Tony. They wrote, how does one stay warm at home in a power outage without a generator? First off, we should say, if you do have a generator, keep that outside, like 20 feet away from the house minimum. And that doesn't mean, again, in an open garage. That means all the way outside. Carbon monoxide poisoning has killed people in this area in previous storms. More on that in just a moment. But if you don't have a generator, how quickly your home cools down really depends on its age. Some older homes tend to be a bit draftier and they will lose heat faster. Here are some things you can do, though, to slow that down. Close off unused rooms in your house. Cover windows with drapes or blankets to keep that heat inside. Roll up a towel or a blanket to put it against the bottom of the doors throughout your house, not just the exterior doors. And keep your vents open. Closing them could mean real trouble when the power comes back on. Not good for the HVAC. Here's another good question. This one comes from Teresa. Teresa wrote, I live in North Raleigh where there are no power lines. Could I lose power during an ice storm? Trish wrote something similar. Our power lines are underground. If power goes out where the lines are overhead, does that affect us? Now, unfortunately, the answer to that is yes. Even if your power lines are underground, the ice storm can still affect you because your lines are connected to a much larger grid with lots of overhead lines. Here's what Duke Energy told us about that, saying the reality is that if the outage is on a main distribution line or a secondary line that serves their neighborhood, then power is still interrupted. Basically, it's kind of like a domino effect, right? If there's an outage on a main line or nearby, that could knock out power to your neighborhood as well. Last one, the Brickleys wrote in and said, do you think that tomorrow's ice storm could be equivalent to the ice storm of December of 2002? Now, we talked about this last night at 7 o'clock. Mike Mays showed us how eerily similar tomorrow's storm is to that storm that we saw 20 plus years ago. But to answer the Brickleys' question, will the storm be equivalent to what happened in 2002? Well, it kind of depends on what you mean by equivalent. Will the weather look the same? Will the amount of ice buildup be similar? Maybe. It might be. The difference is we have never been better equipped to respond to problems created by an ice storm. 20 years ago, we didn't have the fleets of linemen coming in from other states and staging and getting ready. We didn't have all that brine all over the roads that you've seen go down over the past couple of days. We didn't have the self-healing technology on our power grid that Duke Energy is talking about all the time. That said, we should prepare ourselves anyhow. You know, today we heard from a Raleigh man who lost his father-in-law in the ice storm of 2002. That man was starting a generator in his garage, but before he could open the garage, he slipped and fell, and the carbon monoxide built up in there and killed him.
It was that split moment where he had not rolled up the garage door first before he tried to start the generator. And people always think, well, this will never happen to me, or this I'm smarter than that, I'll figure this out, and I take all the precautions. My father-in-law was that guy. He was really smart, had all the plans.
No, look, we don't tell you this stuff to scare you. Even though it all is a little bit scary, I get it. I feel that too. I think we all do. We want you to be informed, though, and be prepared. And you don't have to be alone in this. I hope you're not. Talk to your neighbors, check in, work together. Your power might go out, but your friends a few street over, they might be on a different power grid. They might still have the lights on. Who in your neighborhood has a generator? Who has snacks and water? Who can keep tabs on that older couple that lives down the street? Who went to the store before they ran out of all the stuff? And how can you help your neighbors who didn't? Be a team. Lock in like us in those serious pictures we showed you earlier. Get ready and take this seriously, because we are and will be here for you, including meteorologist Kat Campbell. Nobody's been really working much harder than her over the past couple of days. Mike Mays, the rest of our meteorologists, but boy, it's been a busy one.
Oh, absolutely. And I love your message of community. You know, we can find a light in all of this and come together with your communities to ride out the storm. Let's take a look at the timing of everything, because that's becoming more clear. And things are really going to ramp up tomorrow night for us. During the evening, we'll gradually see this all moving in. It could start with some snow and sleet initially in our northern counties, but this will transition to all freezing rain tomorrow night. So I don't think a lot of folks would actually lose power until Sunday if you lose power. Hopefully that helps you watch a movie with the family tomorrow night and stay busy. Sunday, an ice storm with freezing rain. A little bit of a lull, though, during the afternoon. We'll get to that. Monday, it's freezing cold, dangerous roads expected, and then even colder Tuesday morning when we could wake up to lows in the single digits. We're forecasting just 9 degrees for the low Tuesday morning, 16 Wednesday morning, 17 Thursday morning, and 10 Friday morning. All week long, our high temperatures are only in the 30s. It is really going to be cold out there. The dual Doppler 5000 radar is nice and quiet tonight. The advantage of having a dual pole radar, though, is to see the different types of precipitation as it falls tomorrow. So we're going to be using the dual Doppler 5000 radar. It scans in 3D, and that's how we can really decipher between the sleet, the snow, and the freezing rain. So stay with us tomorrow. We will keep you up to date as the radar begins to light up, likely in different colors initially before it turns to freezing rain. You can see the storm system is coming together already. We've got high pressure pushing in the cold air. Tomorrow, for the precipitation types, it'll start as some snow and sleet from the triangle north, but then it transitions to freezing rain after just a couple of hours. Freezing rain in our southern counties throughout pretty much the entirety of the event. Saturday at noon, still dry tomorrow. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s. As we get towards 6 o'clock, we do start to see some of the light wintry mix moving in. Temperatures are in the 20s. It's a hard freeze. Whatever of this is falling is sticking to the roads, the grounds. 19 in Roxborough, 19 in South Hill. 11 o'clock, you can see a very active radar, and it may be heavier overnight into Sunday morning. Eastern North Carolina, this is mainly rain to the east, but notice with the hard freeze, Rocky Mount, Goldsboro, Clinton, even Sunday morning, what's falling is sticking to the road. If that number is 28 or lower, it is adding up in terms of the ice. Lunchtime, perhaps a little bit of a break starting in our southern counties. It'll become more of a patchy drizzle situation as we head into Sunday evening. And then our final band is going to move through Sunday night. Ahead of this final band, let's pause this and look at temperatures. 35 in Fayetteville and Rocky Mount, 37 Goldsboro, 39 in Clinton, and 32 in Raleigh. So with this final band, it may not actually stick everywhere or add up in terms of the glaze of ice. It could even create maybe a little slushy layer on top, which would be better than a glaze of ice out there. Still, we're going to be watching this final band move through overnight, and it clears out pretty quickly on Monday morning. We'll be here with you through all the stages of this winter storm. One thing to root for, the more sleet that we see around the triangle especially at the beginning of the event tomorrow would help to lower some of those freezing rain totals. So for once, we are rooting for sleet. Typically in our area, we hate the sleet around the triangle in Raleigh because it steals all the snow. But in this case, you actually want it. We do have freezing rain in the forecast for the most part, though. And as we get into next week, just bitter cold temperatures in store, Dan.
I'm a big sleet fan, huge sleet fan. All right, thank you, Kat. So you know the monks are walking through our area this weekend. Are you wondering how are they going to deal with the ice storm? Well, we've got an answer for you in tonight's One Last Thing. One last thing for you tonight. The monks walking for peace are now in Wake County. They'll be in Raleigh tomorrow, and they say they're going to push on no matter what. No matter the ice, no matter the weather. Sky 5 capturing their journey into Apex today. Hundreds of people were at Jordan Lake to greet them, many of them in traffic braving the cold, giving them gifts as well.
I've noticed that you've received a lot of gifts along the way from different people. What does that mean to you?
And we have them all. We collect them and we keep them all.
So the city of Raleigh says they have been coordinating with the monks closely to help them plan their route. The monks tell us that they are prepared with extra clothes and warm food, but they do say that they do not plan to stop. They are not going to hunker down when that ice starts to fall tomorrow around this time. They are going to keep marching on this March for Peace, which is a little frightening and very impressive. We will keep updating you on them and, of course, all things as this weather continues to move closer. Thanks for joining us here at 7 o'clock. Our next newscast is at 10 o'clock on Fox 50 and 11 on WRAL.